The man received a mysterious and eerie assignment. Every day, he had to plant landmines on a steep cliff face. The purpose was to prevent unknown creatures from climbing up the canyon, and he lived in a bunker nearly 100 meters high. On the opposite side of the canyon stood an identical bunker. Before leaving, the veteran warned him to never make contact with the person on the other side. The man asked what was down at the bottom of the canyon, but the veteran didn't answer. He just told him to follow the rules here. The next day, the veteran left by helicopter. But what he didn't know was that no one could take the secrets of this place with them. The man would need to stay here completely alone for an entire year, with no contact, no communication. In the end, he'd receive millions of dollars as compensation. His daily work consisted of checking whether the radar was functioning properly, inspecting the canyon edge's protective netting for damage, and ensuring the heavy machine gun's ammunition was fully loaded. Then once a month, he'd report to headquarters via radio. The rest of the time, he spent alone in the bunker. One afternoon, bored, the man picked up his binoculars and looked toward the opposite bunker. The sight before him left him stunned. The person stationed across from him was actually a woman. She seemed to sense someone was watching her, but the veteran's warning kept echoing in the man's mind. Never make contact with anyone. That evening, the man couldn't resist using his binoculars to peek at the woman again. When she noticed, she blew out her candle. 3 months quickly passed. The man was sitting outside reading when suddenly a gunshot rang out across the sky. The woman had fired a shot into the air, breaking the silence. Then she held up a sign asking for his name. The man, following the veteran's warning, wrote back, "No communication." But the woman wasn't willing to give up. Just as he was about to turn away, a shot rang out and blew apart his teacup. She made a taunting gesture. The man wasn't about to back down. He fired one shot and shattered her wine bottle. But the woman wasn't angry. She held up another sign telling him her name and that today was her birthday. The man raised his glass, sending her his wishes. For the first time, they no longer felt alone, and they began communicating through gestures. Two lonely souls slowly drew closer. Suddenly, the woman pointed downward. The man followed her gaze and saw a dark shadow climbing up the cliff. As they got closer and closer, the man finally got a clear look at those creatures. Without hesitation, he detonated the landmines. As the explosions echoed, those creatures were blown off the cliff. But soon, more and more monsters started climbing up. The two quickly went into combat mode, working together with perfect coordination. They soon drove all the monsters back into the canyon, but then the woman faintly sensed movement beneath her feet. She carefully stepped backward when suddenly a claw covered in sharp spikes reached out. A humanoid horror creature climbed up from below.